Thank you, Mr. Toastmasters, and welcome. I guess we're all Toastmasters and guests today. Today I'm going to be talking about my solo backpacking trip in Thailand, and it sounds as fun as it was because it was my first time solo traveling without my family, going into a completely different country where I did not know the language. Now, I almost did not go to this trip because I originally planned it with one of my high school friends, and during the last 2 weeks she said, you know what, Lee, I'm sorry, I decided to do a post-baccalaureate, so that means 1 more year of college. So I definitely understood that, and at that point it was either me not going or me going anyway by myself. And I had watched too many Thai movies with English subtitles, and I already invested in Thai language pod, so I was very invested in the trip, so I decided, you know what, even though I'm scared, even though I'm terrified, let's just go. And I remember on the airplane I thought, oh my God, we're gonna crash. And even when I got to Bangkok airport, I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna be kidnapped or somebody's gonna steal everything. And the hilarious thing is that Thailand is the most tourist-friendly country in the whole entire planet. And I got to know the Thai people and a lot of tourists there after I got off the plane and started talking to people. So the reason why I took this trip was partly because I was so burnt out from school. So I went to school basically 12 years straight. The last year of college, I didn't really care that much anymore because I had senioritis. This is a disease that a lot of seniors have where they're so sick and tired of school that they're physically there, but mentally we're all checked out, right? So I had a lot of senioritis, and the only thing that kept me going was like, okay, I'm gonna go on this adventure, I'm gonna go backpacking in Thailand. And when I got there, I went to a hostel. So for people who don't know, hostels are basically where I would say 16 to 25-year-olds go, and 10 of them are in a room, and you basically have cheap accommodation, and you can meet different people. And I was quite scared, but the first time that I went to a Thai hostel in Bangkok, I said hi to this woman in the bathroom. I just started talking, and then she said, oh, I am a massage therapist in London who had family in Thailand. So we just started talking, and then she said, hey, do you want to go to the Thai embassy with me? And I had a whole month free, so I was like, sure, okay. So just basically went to the Thai embassy with her, and we started talking, and that ended up being a 2-week-long trip where I was just basically, going around her hometown, and I went to the beaches of Pattaya, and then she would give alms to the Buddhist monks like 5 a.m. in the morning, and I saw so many things that I would definitely not have seen had I just stayed in the touristy area. So we still keep in touch on Instagram and Facebook, and I call her my Thai sister because she was so kind to me. She basically treated me like family when I was there. So one thing about traveling, you will meet a lot of great people. And the second thing I want to say about traveling is that you get to meet a lot of tourists as well. And I didn't meet that many Americans because I think the stereotype is true. A third of us don't even have passports because we think we'll just stay here. And we don't have, European vacations where they're guaranteed, I think, like a month or something. So I met a lot of people from different countries, and this one really interesting guy that I met, he was a Japanese chef who worked at an Italian restaurant. And we started talking, and he's like, 6 months out of the year I work in hell, and 6 months out of the year I work in heaven. And I thought that was a pretty weird way of introducing yourself, but he was so wise because we have been taught that, for 50 years you can work really hard, and then after you retire, then you can have fun, right? But that's not really what life is about, right? And I didn't really see how important his way of living was until I actually started working, because I didn't have any paid vacation, so I really cherished the time that after I graduated from college, I did some solo backpacking trip myself. And the last thing I want to talk about traveling is that traveling does not end even after your trip is over, because you can talk to different people, and I'm using this trip to share with you guys how awesome Thailand is. And the funny thing is, I actually connected with my husband because of this trip. So my husband is Mexican, and when we went on the first day, I kind of thought I knew what he was going to be like, because we all judge people, and we all thought, okay. And I started referencing this really obscure Thai film, and then he's like, oh, I know what you're talking about. And I was like, how do you know this? And he told me that he was basically adopted by a Thai family, and that explains why he's the most Asian Mexican I've ever met, ever. And I think it's just a good way for us to open up to different people, because I met so many Australians, Europeans, people who spoke like 5 different languages on that trip, so I really appreciate that. And I also used the story on an interview, and my boss happened to be a very travel-centric person as well, and I had a Thai coworker, so that ended up working out really well. So I just want to say that if you guys have wanted to travel, but maybe your spouse doesn't want to do it, or your friend doesn't want to do it, you should just go anyway, because you'll learn a lot about yourself. You're going to be meeting more people who are from different cultures, and you'll see a side of you that you have never seen in school or at work. So I really recommend Thailand, one of the best places ever. There are some things that I did that I cannot say, but it's a very great country, and I'm planning another trip in Europe, and I think it's going to be just as fun. Thank you.